What is up, everyone? And happy championship week is over, and you won your championship, hopefully. And if not, well, there's always next year. We'll look ahead to next year in a bit. But first, let's recap what just went down week 17. Look, for most of you, that's it. The season is done, which is kind of hard to believe and weird to say. I still feel like we're still going. We are still going because there's still another week of football. But for fantasy football, that's it for most of you guys. So first of all, we're here to celebrate. Chris, how are we feeling? It's weird, right? Isn't it weird that saying it's over?
It is. It's weird for sure. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna enjoy this weekend of just watching the games and not worrying about who scores and who does what. But it is also a little sad that it's already over. Feels like we just started.
Yeah, that's weird too. It really is odd to watch a football game without looking at stats and thinking about who you got and who you're rooting against. And for us, it's different, because we're always thinking about who to recommend, who to say we should pick up or to bench or to cut. And so look, let's say bottom line is it was good, crazy season. We're going to be back for it again next year. Hope you guys stick with us because we aren't ever done. Like it's over. Like maybe your season for fantasy football is over. We're already starting for next season, and we're gonna stick around for week 18 too. We'll do another live show. And for those of you who still have something in play, still playing, maybe this week is your Super Bowl. We'll do a weekend stream. But right now, we want to celebrate you guys and whoever did win their championship. So let's post those dubs. Let us know how it went. And if you lost, that's okay too. You can let us know. Trust me, we did not win 100% of our leagues because that's pretty much impossible.
Yeah, well, I'm sure somebody's going to hop on here and win 100% of their leagues, but it's very hard to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're in like 2 or 3 leagues, sure. But it's pretty hard. Also, I'd say with our leagues, the competition we have, because we go against you guys in most of our leagues, make it tough. All right, let's see. Let's see. Well, I don't know. Let's start with a positive here. Mr. Jones, 5 leagues, 3 Super Bowls, 2 wins. Nice. 2 out of 5.
Very good. Well done.
That's not easy to do. Again, there's so much that has to break right. You have to have, well, first of all, you have to avoid injuries.
Yes.
That's what, how much would you say is that, like 90% of it?
Yeah, probably pretty close to that, honestly.
Avoid injuries. You have to have the right guy go off at the right time. Make the right decisions. Man, it's just so much that goes into it.
Yep.
All right. Jeremy Zawoski, 3 leagues, won 2 of them. Nice, including the money league.
Very good.
All right. Let's see. Ronnie Catalano. Yeah, big on Connor this week. Connor came through. Man, not just this week, but what was it? 4 weeks in a row? He was huge.
Yeah, Connor was great down the stretch. And yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear a lot of people hyping up Connor, but we said yes to Connor a lot this weekend. I remember saying yes to James Conner a lot. I was very happy to see James Conner have a big game because I was like, we probably said yes to James Conner more than probably anybody, I'm guessing. So it was nice that he came through for us.
Yeah, he came through huge down the stretch. It might be a little far-fetched to say he was a league winner because he didn't have like that explosive game, but he was so consistent, so solid. Yeah. If you had him, with running backs these days.
The funny thing about James Conner is like 3 years ago when he first got to Arizona, I remember he was coming off that horrible year in Pittsburgh. Nobody wanted to draft James Conner. I said, James Conner in the 10th round, he's a steal. Go draft James Conner. Then he had a great year. And then the next year he was going in like round 3. And I was like, you guys are nuts. You guys are crazy taking James Conner in round 3. And then he had a bad year. And then this year he was down in like round 9 again. I was like, you got to draft James Conner again. So my guess is this year, because of how good he was, he's probably going to go in like round 4 or round 5. And I'm going to say you guys are nuts. And you're all going to say you're nuts because look how good he was. And then you're going to regret drafting James Conner. Of course, we don't know if he's even going to be back in there. Who knows? But I just think it was like the James Conner career arc has been like, great, bad. And like his ADP is always the opposite of that. Like the year after he's great, he's drafted high, and then he's bad, and then he's drafted low. It's like, it's pretty fun. But anyways, think that's funny for some reason.
It's always all about value. All about value. But yeah, he was definitely huge. Here's an unfortunate one.
Oh man, there were some big time busts this week. I mean, like the worst part about like Baker Mayfield turning back into a pumpkin this week and just being horrible was not only that Mike Evans busted and then Rachaad White busted, but the Saints all busted too, because it was like the Bucks couldn't do anything. So the Saints offense didn't have to do anything. It was like Baker Mayfield just took down 2 offenses by himself in week 17. It was like the most Baker Mayfield thing ever, right? Like actually fool us all into thinking like, hey, I'm good, guys, and then just take down not only like the whole Bucks offense, but the Saints offense too, because unless somehow you started Juwan Johnson or you got your garbage time Chris Godwin touchdown. Yeah, that was horrible, because it's like Olave didn't have it because the Saints didn't have to do anything. They didn't even have to do anything. That was horrible.
I think the worst part about it is if you go back and look at the fantasy stats, Baker Mayfield actually had a good fantasy day because the entire game basically became garbage time for him. And so in the fourth quarter, he put those touchdown passes. It's so aggravating that he actually turned out with good numbers, but he was terrible. Man, I think he pretty much sunk his own ship in terms of his value for like Tampa Bay looking like, hey, maybe is he going to be the guy? Can we trust him next year? Like, come on. There's no way after this game they can look at him and be like, yeah, he's the solution.
Well, the good news for him is if they win this week, they're in the playoffs. So if he goes out there against Carolina and plays well and then plays okay in the playoffs, the Bucs will probably talk themselves into him. My guess.
That would be amazing. This Tampa Bay team win the division somehow, but it's still possible.
Well, when you're competing against Arthur Smith and Dennis Allen.
Yeah. Hey, that's some good news. I think we can all celebrate as the Falcons lost.
I know, but now we're hearing reports that they're not sure if they're going to let Arthur Smith go. This is so aggravating. So aggravating. That Tyler Algier screen touchdown was easily the most aggravating play. Oh, like watching him run, like, oh my gosh, like, is he even gonna make it? Is he gonna pass out? Like, who is it? This guy's an NFL running back. Is he gonna actually even still be running when he gets to the goal line? Can he even run that far? And he scores? It's like, come on. So aggravating.
I'm not saying I called the Algier 75-yard touchdown pass, but I did say something about Algier, maybe sneaky start because the Bears give up so many pass catches to running backs. You're like, Algier only has like 4 catches all year. I was like, okay, all right, whatever it was. And then, of course, he did that. And, of course, Bijan didn't do that because Algier did that. That's the most tilting thing.
Exactly. Like just running like he's dragging a tractor behind him. And it's just like, how is this guy scoring right now?
All right, then this actually might be more painful because you guys know how we feel about kickers. Lost lost to a kicker.
Did he have like a huge, how many points did he get? Did he get like 20 points or something stupid like that?
Let's see. Fairbairn, he had 4 field goals.
Yeah, let's see. Kicker.
And 2 extra points.
Oh, I mean, he had 16, which is pretty bad. He wasn't even number 1. Harrison Butker had 24. What the heck?
Well, that's brutal. That's crazy how the Chiefs even won. Butker had by himself 6 field goals in a row in that game. That's all they did. But anyways,
yeah,
the Chiefs are another story.
I think the Jake Browning, feel good story is over. I think, yeah, I don't think he's as good as Joe Burrow. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's
not a one-to-one replacement.
No. There's a reason why these guys aren't drafted in 2019 and haven't started the game. Like, yeah, okay, he got hot for a couple of weeks, but yeah, we've seen the real Jake Browning the last couple of games.
True. So losing to a kicker, again, petition your commissioner, remove kickers from your league. All right, back to good news. Cult of Carl started 0-4, won the title. Nice. Let's go Lamar and Jaden Reed. Yeah, those were 2 league winners for sure.
Okay, we said yes to Jaden Reed a lot too. We told a lot of people to start Jaden Reed. That was good to see. But you know what the irony of it all was? I was like laughing. He scores that touchdown right at the end of the half. What happens coming out of halftime? Injury, out for the game. What is up with the Packers wide receivers? None of them can make it through a game. Like, you can't make, like, what? It's like you gotta just laugh. Like, what is going on over there?
Yeah, and then look, if you are playing for next week and it's your championship, he's questionable. He might not even play next week. So you're like, but anyways, there you go. 0-4. We always say, guys, it does not matter how you start. It honestly doesn't. There is no momentum in fantasy football. There is no. It does not matter how you start. You have to finish strong. So there you go.
Well done. That's awesome. These are my favorite. These are my favorite. It's like 0-4, 2-6. Those are my favorite.
Yeah, and look, this is shout out to you guys. I know y'all are saying thanks and all this, but you got to do the work. You got to make the trades. You got to make the waiver wire claims and do that. So, we try to give the advice, but this is you have to stay in it. You have to stick to it. So, yeah, Jaden Reed was huge this week. Lamar, of course. This is why you don't bench Lamar. So here we go, guys. Post not only your dubs, but also who was your league winner this week? Who carried you to the ship? Maybe it wasn't one guy. Maybe there was a last-second decision that you made that helped you out. I will tell you, he wasn't a league winner for me all season, but starting George Pickens was the difference. He came through when I needed him most.
Yeah, if somehow you made it to week 16 with George Pickens, and then you had the guts to start him, you felt good. But I guess Mason Rudolph was the key for George Pickens. Mason Rudolph. Just all he needed was the third string QB.
Honestly, what I think it is, what he just needed was just not Kenny Pickett. Like, just as long as it's not Kenny Pickett.
That's what I said.
The ball more than 10 yards down the field without it.
Everybody was all hyped up when he was drafted. I said, he's playing with Kenny Pickett. It's not a good fit for George Pickens' game. Oh, I don't care. He's so good. He's so good. Then this year, he's going to break out. He's going to be huge. I said he's still stuck with Kenny Pickett. It's not George Pickens. It's Kenny Pickett. But look, you got Mason Rudolph for the last 2 games, so he bailed you out. So now the big question is going to be, because it sounds like Kenny Pickett has been benched, right? It sounds like it's going to be Mason Rudolph again this week, even though Kenny Pickett is healthy. Who is going to be the Steelers QB next year? That is going to be a big question for sure, because I don't think it's going to be Kenny Pickett.
If the Steelers win again this week with Rudolph, they're still alive in the playoffs, aren't they, in the wild card race?
Yeah, they can't. It can't be Mason Rudolph next year. It cannot be.
Well, I don't think it would be
Mason Rudolph isn't some rookie that we've never seen play before. That's like, look, this. It's not like Mason Rudolph is not Brock Purdy. Let's put it that way.
No,
we've seen Mason Rudolph. He's bad. Jake Browning went on a heater. Josh Dobbs went. You can go on a heater. You can go on a little mini heater. Like it cannot be Mason Rudolph next year, please.
No, I think this just shows more so than anything about Mason Rudolph. It's just that it's not Kenny Pickett. Yes. Like, he maybe was the issue, and Canada was also the issue, but maybe it was also.
Okay, that's also why I didn't get quite as excited about as everybody else when Matt Canada got fired. I was like, Kenny Pickett's still the quarterback.
All right, so who was it, guys? Who helped you win? Najee. We kind of laughed and said, like, it would be so fitting if Najee, and sure enough, Najee was huge this week. That was fitting.
Najee was on the cover of the Sneaky Starts this week.
Just saying, there you go. All right, let's get to more. Larry Pickard, thanks for your help and great advice. Nice. Won the championship. Awesome, Larry. You've been with us all year. Leon the Wise, that's right, get that trophy. Nathan Villatoro won the league.
Nice.
We're Ronnie already said champs in the house. There's gonna be a lot of champs here in the house.
That's right.
Who else? Chaz Woods won it all. Had Lamar, likely came through too. Cup, Ayuk went off. Man,
I actually had Likely in a league where I did not win that championship. But Likely was hilarious. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. Like, hilarious. Just like the razor edge between being a complete bust and a stud, right? Because if he catches 2 passes and they aren't touchdowns, Isaiah Likely's a bust. Like, that's the razor's edge sometimes between being like a stud and a bust.
And that's the thing in even in PPR, touchdowns are the great equalizer. They make such a huge difference. Yeah. And that's why I was huge. Like you had to start Zamir White. He had 2 goal line carries and didn't convert on either one. If he converts on one of those, he's getting you closer to 20 points than what he came up with, like 12 or something. He was fine, but he wasn't great. But man, those touchdowns make such a big difference.
Oh yeah.
All right. And then Chad, this is funny. He says, at first the owner didn't give him the money until now. Like, what's up with that?
Yeah, I don't know. What's up with that?
Yeah, put him.
Just pay.
Well, you got it, then you're good. All right, we won't get into that. But
yeah,
deceptive perception won big, which is the best way to win.
Yes. Although sometimes winning that tight one feels good afterwards, but it's so stressful during.
Yeah, it's just nice to go in and dominate. Put up a huge point total to prove that you were the biggest winner.
Yes.
Great Scott. What a season. Second year, got second place. Oh, yeah, Justin Jefferson didn't come through that whole situation.
So many. Okay, let's look, it's like every year we have busts, right? But let's look at the first round, kind of like what the first round was in most leagues. And just look at what they did in week 17. Justin Jefferson, busted. Jamar Chase, busted. CMC, busted. Tyreek Hill, busted. Who else was up there? Bijan Robinson, busted. Stephon Diggs, busted. Travis Kelce, busted. AJ Brown, busted. Like if you drafted Austin Eckler, busted. Like if you drafted anybody in the first round, you got a bust in week 17. Congratulations. Your first round pick, unless you had like CeeDee Lamb. Who else was drafted in the first round that was actually good in week 17? I'm not talking honestly. I'm just talking week 17. CeeDee Lamb. I don't even know.
I was just looking at this, thinking about how we did this year and calls and all that. Yeah, first round, Travis Kelce's a whole nother thing. He was just, man, what a bust down the entire stretch.
Yeah, Travis Kelce, Stephon Diggs down the stretch. Cooper Kupp was a bust in week 17. He was a first round pick. Like that's 10. That's 10 first round picks that busted in week 17.
Did you mention Jamar Chase?
Jamar Chase, yeah, Justin, like the top 2 picks, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase busted in week 17. CMC, worst game of the season, misses almost the entire second half in week 17. Tyreek Hill, worst game of the season, drops an easy touchdown in week 17. Who else? Bijan, busted, of course. Stephon Diggs, Travis Kelce,
I got a fun
Austin
one.
Eckler, huge bust. He did not boom in week 17. He just busted hard.
A fun one is, even though he wasn't maybe consensus round 1 pick, but later, when the holdout thing was all Saquon Barkley, like how he was wide open for that conversion, and Tyrod Taylor was like, it's a
and then even more tilting was that. Okay, yes, that. I mean, but that's like 2 points. Okay, whatever. But then when the Giants got the ball back for that last play on that slant, if he catches that slant, he's gone. He's gone. It's a 70-yard touchdown, and suddenly Saquon Barkley, so that's what I mean. The razor edge between being a bust this week and a stud is could be that close in fantasy.
Yeah, Tyrod just somehow forgot how to throw it in that conversion, and then Saquon, that was his. He just dropped it, and that would have been a big play.
That was 100% on Saquon. That one was 100% on Saquon. If he catches that ball, he's gone.
Yeah, the Giants score 25 points somehow against the Rams, and Saquon winds up with single-digit fantasy points. There you go. Yeah.
Brutal.
What do you think about this? Drizzy Izzy, do we need a panic video for week 17?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought about it, but I think it's just time for people to enjoy the good. Let's enjoy the good this week. Let's just enjoy the good.
All right, well, here's some more good. Christopher E.
0-6
to champ.
That is the best I have ever seen. Well done. You know how many people would have just quit? Just quit. Just wouldn't even set their lineup anymore. Just would have quit. Not even set their lineup, and you won the championship. Heck yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome. All right, there you go. Joe T won 1 out of 2, and even better, beat your best friend. That makes it even
that
sweeter.
Always feels good. Now you got bragging rights all off season.
All right, the Bulletproof 13 wasn't pretty, but you still won. You know what? That trophy is still just as pretty in the end, isn't it?
Exactly. A win is a win. Pretty or not, a win is a win.
All right. How about this? Lazo Baseball 96, unreal. After almost ending my season, Devonta Adams, he came through. Talk about league winners. Man, But Kyren, do you think Kyren is fantasy MVP?
Oh, I think Kyren it's either Kyren or CeeDee Lamb. But I think it probably have to give the edge to Kyren because he was a waiver wire pickup. You know what I mean? Like you drafted CeeDee Lamb in the first round. Well, hopefully you drafted CeeDee Lamb. Look, without a doubt, my best call this year was CeeDee Lamb. Because I kept saying over and over again, if somebody outside like the kind of like the obvious names, the Jeffersons, the Chases, the Cups, the Tyreek Hill, I said if somebody outside of those guys is going to be the top scoring wide receiver this year, it's going to be CeeDee Lamb. Draft CeeDee Lamb every time you can. Draft CeeDee Lamb. It got so much pushback. Like Mike McCarthy, like Kellen Moore is gone. The offense won't be as good. Dak Prescott chokes. Mike McCarthy's going to run the ball, right? Got so much pushback on that. No doubt CeeDee Lamb was my best call this year, without a doubt. But I still think Kyren has to be the fantasy MVP because you didn't even draft Kyren Williams. You picked him up off the waiver wire week 1. Like, that is worth more than CeeDee Lamb first-round pick. So I think it's got to be Kyren. It's got to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. Sometimes those are the best picks. Like you said, the guys you didn't even draft.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, getting it's hard to even put, like, the only reason Kyren honestly might have had a better season than CMC this year had he not gotten hurt. Kyren actually averaged more yards per game rushing than Christian McCaffrey this year. Like, Kyren might have actually been better than CMC had he not missed those 4 or 5 games in the middle of the season. Like, getting CMC, you basically got CMC off the waiver wire. Like, it's hard to put like a value on that.
Basically, and compared to CMC in week 17, you would much rather have had Kyren.
Oh yeah, crushed him.
So I'm gonna say I'll take like 10% credit for Kyren, even though I hated him and never drafted him ever and didn't want to pick him up because I was big on Cam Akers in the Rams system. So I think that kind of right, like through osmosis, I get like credit for maybe.
Yeah.
See who came up big for you this week. Who were your league winners? Tyler, JT did come through.
Was good.
Clutch, Brees.
Brees. Brees, we gotta feel good. We gotta feel good about Brees going into next season. 2 years removed from ACL. Yeah. Gotta hope Aaron Rodgers stays healthy. You gotta feel good about Brees going into next year.
Definitely Brees. I'm afraid his ADP might be too high, but we'll get to that later.
He's gonna be a first rounder for sure.
He'll be a first round. Tim, Devonta Adams, absolutely. Let's see. You're talking about some busts. All right, let's get back to. Well, actually, give some credit. He didn't do a lot this week. Miles Young said the last few weeks, DeMarcus Robinson kind of helped.
Yeah, if you grabbed DeMarcus Robinson a few weeks ago and rolled him out every week, I mean, he pretty much was good most weeks. I know this week he didn't go off. I mean, he still had 13 PPR points. So, I mean, again, for a guy you grabbed off waivers in week like 13 or 14, yeah, you can't be mad about that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, I'm kind of surprised there. He didn't score a touchdown finally for the first time in a month, but he still had 13 points, like you said. So that's pretty good. All right.
And he must have fumbled. Yeah, he fumbled because he actually had 6 catches for 92 yards, which is a nice game. He scored as many points as Tyreek Hill. You're muted.
Sorry, Joe. I just need Joe Kingsley won by 6. The car Taysom Hill stack.
Hey. Taysom. Were you the one that asked us about Taysom on Sunday, and we were like, well, if these are your choices, you might as well. Because I remember when Taysom Hill scored, I was like, oh, that feels so good because we told that one guy, that one person who asked us, it was like Taysom Hill, Tanner Hutt. It was like terrible tight ends, right? I was like, Taysom Hill or these like terrible tight ends, and we were like, yeah, just go ahead, play Taysom, see what happens.
Yeah, I think there was exactly one person who asked about Taysom Hill, and that one person we said yes because we're like, might as well. That's crazy though if you think about it. Lecard he was fine. Actually, you know what? He should have had a bigger game, except the Bucs didn't put up a fight.
Exactly.
So again, I blame Baker Mayfield. But Carr and Taysom Hill outscoring Mahomes and Kelsey. That's insane, but true.
Insane, but true.
3 ships in 4 years, a Officially a
done.
dynasty. There you go.
You are. That is officially a dynasty.
Gabe won by 14. Very even
With
despite
Diggs
starting.
and Kamara. With Diggs and Kamara. That's good. I actually won a championship with Diggs. He did not boom. Oh, my gosh. Stephon Diggs. What are we doing with Stephon Diggs next year? Where's this guy going to get drafted?
There remains the question of what Diggs is really going to want to do next year. I don't know. Trust me, guys. It won't be much longer. We'll be talking about all this stuff for next year. Hey, I feel like one of my better calls for this week was saying I don't have to start Alvin Kamara. And sure enough, he busted.
He busted.
Mark Pearson, third place, lost the big game. Oh, no, you're kidding. By 0.2.
Oh. How did you get third place, though? Wait, you lose in the championship and you don't get second? You should be second.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
But losing like that, that's rough. But hopefully you put your best lineup out there, and it's just one of those things.
Yeah, you can't control what the other guy does. Nolo85 got my 5th Dynasty championship in 11 years. Yeah, you're a Dynasty. In the Dynasty League. That was my 9th overall. Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah, you are officially a Dynasty in your Dynasty League.
What's up? Kevin is in here. 1, 2 out of his 3. Baker Mayfield, James Conner, defenses, and Butker. Wow, won $400.
Nice. Well done, Kevin. 2 out of 3. Can't be mad about that.
Wahab Ali, Devonta, and Lamar carried you. Got the chip. We'd like to see that.
Lamar. My goodness, Lamar was huge.
NMAP won because of the advice to go with Aaron Jones and Rice over Kelsey or McBride. There you go. Nice. You always say those tight ends.
Yeah, those tight ends. Well done.
Doug Fenton winning. Oh, because he's got the 2-week thing. He still has next week.
This is why you don't play week 18, man. You're not getting it's not fair. It's not fair that you make it to your chance that you don't get your best player in week 18.
Yeah, and Devonta Smith hurt.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, okay. This is why we're going to do another stream still for next week. Some of you still playing for either next week is a Super Bowl or you're doing it.
Hopefully you have Elijah Mitchell on your bench.
That's what I'm telling you. And that's one thing. Look, I know I wasn't convinced, but on the waiver wire video said, look, if you have CMC, there's no reason not to pick up Elijah Mitchell and Jordan Mason. And I even said against the Commanders, one of these guys could have standalone value. Just didn't know who it was. Well, it was Elijah Mitchell. Like if you started him, he was one of your better running backs on this on the week. Honestly, he was better than
he was. I was like, man, I watching Elijah Mitchell score a rushing touchdown. Just the most tilting thing for anybody with CMC. Like CMC just been an absolute beast all year, and then in week 17, you're watching Elijah Mitchell score a rushing touchdown.
Very, very tilting to say the least. That's one way to say it. All right, Doug. So we'll try to help you out for this week. Christopher Potts, Happy New Year. That too. 8 leagues, 6 playoffs, 3 titles. 3 out of 8
well
is
done.
Pretty good.
That's very good.
Nice. And then I know he's a champion because he took down one of our endgame leagues, other John. Just give him a shout out. Won championship by 1.9 via that last catch by Pickens.
Nice.
I think it was one of my leagues, right? It was one of the endgame. I'm pretty sure it was. It was one of my leagues. So we have 2 that you're in, 2 that I'm in, 2 that we're both in.
Yes.
And one of my leagues, he was the champion. So congratulations. And yeah, that Pickens catch helped me win one of the other in-game leagues. Not mad at Pickens at all. All right, let's get to this. You know our guy Python, right?
Yes.
Python.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Very generous.
Cut. We don't need a cut. You're being on here is good enough. But the underdog winnings, the quarterback thing, I guess it's a tradition now. We have to keep it going all next year.
I guess so.
Yes,
well, we are ready. We don't want to make this about us, but we do the underdog. We did have the underdog.
Oh, we have to share the underdog for last week, don't we?
Yes. Let me.
Okay, pull it up a little. We'll get to that. Yeah, I almost forgot. I forgot. We were busy celebrating titles and championships. Look, Python, love that you're on here all the time. Appreciate all our most loyal viewers. Hey, man, stay with us. Be with you next season. Off season, again, it does not stop, guys. We are not stopping at all. You're going to see fantasy football content from here until week 1 kickoff. Yeah, then he almost took down one of the leagues, but yeah, thank you, Python. Let's do some more here. Nab won 2 of my leagues, both going against CMC. Nice. That's kind of lucky, not gonna lie.
Oh yeah,
luck sometimes better than skill. Paul Smith, first ship after 4 years of playing. Nice. Places we're in.
Okay.
Richard Riddick won 2 out of his 5 leagues, and then 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the others.
Wow. Top 4 in all 5 leagues. Well done. And with 2 championships. Well done, Richard.
Yeah. Honestly, all the luck that is involved just to do that is a huge testament to you. I mean, you got to stick with it. You have to have things break right. There's no way to win every single league unless you're playing with chumps or something. So, Zay, Happy New Year's. And just saying thank you, of course.
Yeah. Happy New Year's. That's right.
We'll talk
2024. Crazy.
I know. It's already it went by fast. Silver Dude asking about the Rams sitting their players. We're going to save that for the next stream, or you want to talk about it now?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could talk about it a little bit. So, so they could finish 6th or 7th. I mean, they're playing the Niners, who should rest. I mean, we know CMC is not going to play. I mean, maybe like the 49ers starters play a quarter or a half, but look, it's Kyle Shanahan. Maybe the starters play the whole game. Maybe he tries to win. I don't know. It's Kyle Shanahan. Like, right, this is the same guy who is up 3 scores with 6 minutes to go in the game and is giving Christian McCaffrey 10 carries. Like this guy's not the most important part of your Super Bowl run, and you're giving this guy like 10 carries in the 4th quarter up 3 scores with 6 minutes to go instead of giving like Elijah Mitchell or Jordan Mason the ball. So maybe he'll play the starters the whole game. But yeah, Rams are going to be a tough one this week because they like 6 seed, 7 seed. Is that important to them? I don't know. They're going to be a tough one.
It shouldn't be. The health of Matt Stafford should be important to them.
Right.
I worry that we're going to still see Kyron, but I don't think we're going to see as much Kyron. So it's going to be hard to sit him. I think
that's the other thing. It's not like he has like he's way behind Christian McCaffrey for the rushing lead. He needs like 300 yards. He's not gonna, you know what I mean? It's not like if he was like, oh, you need 70 yards, he'll be the rushing leader. Maybe they'll get it for him. It's not like that.
So. There's no incentive here. Yeah. But I don't think he's just going to completely sit either. So it's hard to just not play him. Look, sneaky start if you're desperate. Maybe Ronnie Rivers. But I feel Demarcus Robinson is going to be a really strong play again. I do. Anyways, it's going to be tricky. We'll hear more, and this is why we're going to stream on Saturday. So check out. You don't have to worry about it yet, right? You can set your lineup on Saturday, Sunday.
Right. The good news is all the games are on Sunday this week, so there's no like worry about like got a Thursday guy, got a Saturday guy. They're all on Sunday this week.
All right, let's go to Chris Cook. Won in fantasy, almost didn't play. Oh wow, that his dad passed away in April.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Use his team name. Nice. That's awesome.
Nice.
First one on our trophy. He wanted to be the first one on our trophy twice. There you go.
That's awesome, Chris. Good for you, man. That's awesome.
And that's a great thing.
I'm sure your dad was helping you out there.
Exactly. That's one thing I really should mention now too. We just talked about our leagues that we do. You know, it's not just the league that you commish, right? And the ones that we're in, but we have some of our guys who've been with us since the beginning, like Nate and Keith and all those guys, and Tatum, starting leagues, and we're in them too, right? Like the Dynasty leagues, I mean, like the MC Trivia League and all those. And in one league, we just did payouts, and it's not money towards a champion. It's a donation to St. Jude. And that's what it's about. It's not about, I want all this cash. So what? Right. What are you going to do with it? You're going to spend it on something you don't need, probably. Yeah. So that's one thing that's been awesome. Just everybody in our community doing stuff like that. So Michael Fawcett has been also an OG.
What's up?
Great year, made the championship round, 2 out of 5. Didn't place lower than 5. That was great.
Yeah, Michael won one of our endgame leagues, and I think he got second or third in another. So well done, Michael. Well done.
Very nice. And go Seahawks still, I guess. I don't know. He's a Seattle guy. Richie Campton won his league. Very nice.
Very nice.
CJ in Santa Cruz took first, second, and third in his 3 leagues.
There you go. Well done.
Ernesto Cavazos just started playing fantasy last year and now is a back-to-back champ.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
That's
like, this is easy. This is the easiest game I've ever played. Well done.
Same thing here. Taylor Bryson, first time playing fantasy, won the championship.
Nice.
And that's
now you're hooked. Now you are forever hooked. You are forever hooked now.
All right, Keith. Yes, unfortunately, didn't come through. The other John, I think it was that league, took him down championship. Look, Keith, you knocked me off in. I was the number 1 seed in that league, and he beat me in the semis. So he went to the finals. He lost a final matchup by 0.06 points. I think that's a different league, though. Aaron Jones had a last-minute stat correction. Are you kidding? 1 yard,
wow.
And that's how you lost?
That's rough. That hurts.
Wow.
That hurts.
Wow. That's painful. All right. Happier times. When are we mock drafting again?
Oh, they're coming. They're coming. Don't worry.
Got another first-time winner here. Rame won first time playing.
Nice.
And this feels good too, is when you get the comeback. KMG King down 40. The Love Reed stack took it home.
Yeah. Huge. They were huge last night. Huge.
JR, we know JR got the membership here. Got the W on 3 leagues.
Very good. Very good. Well done. 3 leagues. Man.
And then he asked, who was your league winner? Ernesto, you're too kind. So we were
thanks.
And then JR agreeing, saying we got the 3 dubs. Credit for the week-to-week advice. Hey, it takes both sides, right? We can only say what we think, and we're not right 100% of the time.
Exactly. We have our share of misses, no doubt. Look, I had James Conner on my bench.
Wow.
I had Kyron Williams, JT, and Rashad White. So
yeah, it's not about the misses, it's about the hits, right? You just need to hit on the right guys. Dustin took first, second, and third in his 3 leagues. Wow, look at that! So out of a $300 investment, brought home $1,400. That is huge.
There you go. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, no kidding. So you got carried by Dak, Tyreek, and of course Kyron. Very nice. Joe also, the Packers there, Reed and Aaron Jones.
I'll also say, okay, Aaron Jones didn't have a huge game, like because of course he didn't score. Right? Like, of course, so frustrating. Like, but we said yes to Aaron Jones. I'm thinking probably more than most people did.
Yeah, he still was a very solid play. I know it's annoying, 33 points. He didn't score, but
yeah, he just didn't score. It's like, man.
Let's see here. Make sure we get everybody their shout out. Charles Koff. Ship repeat. Lamar and Ayuk led the way.
Yep.
AJ me. Inserting George Pickens over Rashid Shaheed made the difference.
Yep. Yeah, we said, I mean, if you're going to risk, I remember that question. And we said, if you're going to risk it on one of these guys, you might as well risk it on George Pickens with Mason Rudolph. Thankfully it worked out.
And we've gone too long without mentioning Joe Flacco. Flacco and Lamb, Michael Moyer.
Joe Flacco. Who would have thought Joe Flacco would be a league-winning quarterback in fantasy football 2023? But here we are. Joe, he was pretty much good in every game he started, right? Like if you picked Joe Flacco up off of waivers and started him every single week, you pretty much were never disappointed.
he just kept getting better, and he's still been getting every week getting better. That's crazy. Hey, he helped us in our league. We super flex league. Picked up
Thank
Joe
goodness we didn't
Flacco.
have to start Sam Howell. What a bust! What a bust, Sam Howell.
Yeah, I mean that wasn't the only difference because we won by more than whatever Joe Flacco did, but still that helped down the stretch for sure.
Yep.
CJ also saying Lamb and Njoku. Yeah, speaking of.
And Njoku, he was huge too. If you grabbed Njoku off, because remember, Njoku was drafted in a lot of leagues, and then he was horrible to start the season. Most people dropped him. If you picked him up at some point during the season, man, he carried you. I mean, he absolutely carried you down the stretch.
At a position where it's tough to get that kind of production. You never know, guys. You never know. Waiver wire pickups are sometimes the best players in fantasy, or guys you trade for in the cheap. That's why we do the buy low. Makes much more difference than people realize. People who aren't really into it. Aaron Robarge Adams now 4th straight years.
Wow, really?
Plus. Is that true?
I did not know that. I guess draft Devonta Adams next week next year, and even if he's horrible, if you make the championship, start him.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's pretty insane. That's an insane stat.
Ryan Jones back-to-back championships in the first 2 years playing. So now he just thinks it's normal to win it all.
I know. It's like easy game. This is an easy game.
And he's saying all his playoff games were blowouts.
When you got Likely, Pacheco, Achane, and Love, Achane came through too in this week. It's weird because it didn't feel like it, but then I looked and I was like, oh, he actually had a nice game.
Yeah, he caught that touchdown. Unfortunately, everything the Dolphins did was garbage time because it got handed to them. But oh well. You're going to win this week, I'm sure. Christopher Potts, obviously with multiple teams, titles, you can have a few league winners. Kyron and DJ Moore. Yeah, DJ Moore came through.
I regret not being higher on him this week. But DJ Moore was, again, we have plenty of misses, okay? I mean, right when we're done here, we're going to film a couple videos that I think are going to be pretty fun. We're going to film our 5 biggest hits and our 5 biggest misses. So it's not like we got them all right. But for 4 straight years, I said, don't draft DJ Moore. Oh, his quarterback is whatever terrible quarterback. And people are like, he's so good, though. Don't draft DJ Moore. Don't draft DJ Moore. Don't draft DJ Moore. And then this year I said, okay, now draft DJ Moore. He's got an actual quarterback. And people were like, no, you can't draft DJ Moore Fields. And he was mostly awesome this year. I know he had that stretch there where Fields was out, but come on, that's not fair. But with Fields, when Fields and him played together this year, he was mostly awesome.
Yeah. No, I mean, last week was disappointing because he got hurt. I mean, that just one of those things that happened. He made up for it this week. He definitely made up for it.
Oh, yeah.
JJ, speaking of injuries, I mean, that's just such a big thing. First season ever, managed to win a championship despite injuries to TJ Burrow, Dell. Yeah, after trading to get Dell. Man, that hurts.
That's always the worst, right? Like when you trade to get somebody and then they immediately get hurt. Like, okay, you can probably vouch for this as much as anybody. I know you traded for T. Higgins in a lot of leagues. How did that feel?
I traded for T. Higgins from you. I got T. Higgins from you. And then the very next, it wasn't even the next week. It was like the day after. Then in practice, he got hurt or something. I was like, what the? Oh, man.
And then, of course, in week 17, he gets hurt. I mean, the perfect finish to a season, right? Getting hurt in week 17.
I will say T. Higgins getting hurt did help me win in that one league against Brian because he had T. Higgins. So
I mean, perfect finish to a season, getting hurt in week 17.
Yeah. So, hey, shout out to you, JJ. You did it. And we should mention this. Absolutely nobody started Justice Hill, but...
Oh, my gosh, Justice Hill. Wait, you did Justice Hill touchdown and Achane touchdown? I mean, Achane, I give it. You did Justin Hill touchdown for Scorchers? Wow.
And the only reason he didn't hit it was because of Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill with the ong. Like, oh, my gosh. Like, what is this?
That was worse than Saquon.
Oh, way worse than Saquon because he's literally in the end zone and it hit him right in the hands. It's like there's no question. Like, would he have scored? He was literally in the end zone. It's a touchdown. Like, Tyreek Hill from weeks 1 through 14 was insane, right? Just carried you every single week. Then misses week 15, was just so-so in week 16, and then busts in week 17. Like, what the heck? What the heck, dude?
And he should have, at the very least, he got, you know what I did on Underdog? I took the pick him. I told you this. I went higher on 10 targets. He had 10 targets in the first half alone. He had a ton of targets. He just didn't come through. But that whole game.
Tyreek Hill not going off yesterday was like, Tyreek Hill and CMC. I mean, CMC at least, like, okay, he got hurt. But even still, CMC at the half, like, it was like, how come he doesn't have a touchdown yet against the Commanders? How come he's not just crushing this team right now? Like, CMC and Tyreek Hill not going off against with Tyreek Hill, no Jalen Waddle getting all the targets, and CMC going against the Commanders. Those are the two most like what results of Week 17.
Just shows you never know. You never know. You think it's so obvious, and then the most obvious thing doesn't happen. It's just you never know. And so Angelo's making some comments. Angelo clearly playing for next week.
Melton.
Bo Melton went off. And if Jaden Reed doesn't play, you're right. Bo Melton is definitely going to be one of those guys we talk about.
I know I probably said like 3 things were the most random thing about Week 17, but there's no doubt Bo Melton was the most random thing about Week 17. Bo Melton,
I remember, was like drafted late by the Seahawks a couple years ago and then cut, and nobody knew where he was, and now he shows up randomly.
You know what the funny thing about Bo Melton was? I saw a Vikings beat writer saying Bo Melton wasn't even on like the, they give like the other team reporters like, okay, here's our roster or whatever. Like Bo Melton wasn't even on there. He said there was no Bo Melton like on the thing. Like, who is this guy?
That's definitely random. Talk about a sneaky start. Yeah, they just like
he's the 6th highest scoring wide receiver this week. Bo Melton.
So, General, is CeeDee Lamb a top 5 pick? Yeah, I'd say so.
I mean,
we had him as a first rounder and a top 5 receiver this year. I mean, you were saying he has to be a top 5 receiver. Top 5 overall? I mean, look, are you putting a running back over him? No.
I think CMC, I think CMC will probably go number 1 next year because he's a running back and because he plays for the 49ers and because he was so good. Then I think we're looking at probably Tyreek Hill number 2 is my guess. And then I think we're going to see CeeDee Lamb number 3. Because, look, Jamar Chase kind of disappointed. Justin Jefferson kind of disappointed. Like, who else is going over him? I think we're going to see CeeDee Lamb at number 3. I think he's going to be a top 3 pick next year.
The question is, who's the Vikings quarterback next year? And is Justin Jefferson like a lock as a top 3 pick? I still feel he's going to be a top 3 pick, but I would not hate taking CeeDee Lamb over him because Dak's going to get paid. We know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a top 5 pick. Gage rushing 4 championships this season and still got 1 more for next week. Everyone on your team will play. Let's hope so.
Going for 5. I mean, you won 4. You're pretty much free rolling at this point. It's like, whatever.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. And then Jay, what's up, Jay Hughes? Raiders are elite killer. 2nd place.
Yeah, but you look, when it comes to DSTs, you got to gamble on that upside, right? You got to gamble on that upside.
Yeah, and I don't know if you just mean that or also like Zamir didn't come through. If you had Devonta on the other side, he killed you. But anyways, next season, spread awareness about the dangers of using James Cook.
James Cook was so weird this year. James Cook was so like up and down, right? He would be like terrible for a few games, and he would be great for a few games and then terrible again. I think, look, James Cook to me is just one of these guys. Like, we told a lot of people not to start James Cook this week. We told a lot of people not, and people were like, how can you not start James Cook? He's like the whatever running back, whatever, oh my gosh. I think James Cook is just one of these running backs that you got to look at the matchup. And when he's in a really tough matchup, you got to be cautious. Got to be cautious about him.
Look, I'll say this because I didn't feel great about Cook, but I also didn't feel great about a guy like Pollard. And I was like, it's close. Let me go for upset. They were the same exact guy. In fact, Cook had more yards than Pollard, I think. They had the exact same guy. They both had 48, 49 yards rushing. They did nothing for you. So it really didn't matter, right? It didn't matter who you picked. So you never know. Kel's 22 was down 21, but Jordan Love came through.
Jordan Love, where is Jordan Love going to be drafted next year? He was awesome. Down the
Imagine
stretch here.
Receivers are actually healthy.
Yeah, I mean, you got to hope going into the season, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed are healthy going into the season at least. How long will they stay healthy? We don't know, but
yeah, Christian Watson. We don't have time to talk about him. Other John saying that he had to play Pickens. He dropped London. That was good. Picked up and played Njoku, and that was the difference. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
London wasn't that good, actually.
Some people still playing in week 18. So Suzanne Burkholder still has to play, but is up. Oh, you're up pretty big for third place. Should have been in the ship, but got Arthur Smith. Oh man, that's a whole nother thing we really don't want to get into again. But let's just hope Arthur Smith is not a factor next year. Let's just hope that's not even a thing.
Please. I saw a stat where they've lost to 4 teams that are last in their division. And if they lose this week, which they probably will, it'll be 5. How can you bring this guy back?
Let's say it for one last time. This week we're all Panthers fans? We are all Panthers fans.
Yes.
As you should be. So you already mentioned this, Chris. Biggest hit misses. You'll find out.
They're actually both Cowboys. My biggest hit for sure was CeeDee Lamb, and my biggest miss for sure was Tony Pollard to the moon. Tony Pollard did not go to the moon. I don't even think Tony Pollard made it to the space station. Like Tony Pollard did not go to the moon this year.
Well, can't get them all. Trust me, there's plenty of guys that made a lot less sense that I was wrong on, but we're doing those videos. So guys, you're going to see, we're not going to do as much week 18 content. We'll still do the live stream because obviously some of you are still playing, but you'll see, we're going to go over our best and worst takes. So look for that. Miles Young, just give a shout out here. Thank you. DH, same thing. Been here for years. That's right.
Been here for years.
Since the beginning. So true OG. And then Graham McLaren, 2 runner-ups and 4 third places.
All right, next year we're going to do 2 championships. We'll just do 4 championships. We don't need any runner-ups. Let's go 4 championships.
Yeah. Kel's 1 being the 7th seed and beating the top 2.
7th seed? How many teams made it in your playoffs?
Yeah, no kidding. It must be a deep league. But again, I feel it makes it even sweeter to take down the top teams when you're the underdog.
Yeah, always does. Always feels good.
Yeah, So DH, remember saying he was an OG. This was clearly one of my misses. Clearly.
Yeah.
You can never miss when you pop in Shrek 2 on DVD. Need some Dynasty advice? Okay. Dynasty advice. So like who to keep, who to trade.
I mean, I'm trying to move Ramondre if I can. I don't think you can get anything for Hunt. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to trade Ramondre if I can. I mean, there's nothing that stands out here to me. It was like major, like obvious, get rid of guys. Because like the guys like Hunt, you're probably not getting anything for Hunt. Akers, you're probably not getting anything for Akers. Singletary, you're not getting anything for him. You might as well hold on to Rashawn and Spears. You might as well hold on to you got good young wide receivers. You got good young tight ends. Ramondre is the guy I'm trying to trade if I can. He's the guy I'm trying to move off of if I can.
Yeah, and obviously you're going to do this anyways before your rookie draft. Ditch some dead weight. Cut some of those older running backs you don't need to hold on to. And I'd like to get a younger quarterback. How long is Geno really going to be startable? You know what I mean? He was okay this year as a second quarterback. Watson wasn't really that great as your first quarterback. So don't know your draft pick, but yeah, you definitely need some more depth at quarterback for sure. All right, Eric B was last place at the end of the season's power rankings, second place. So he got the last playoff spot and won the ship with a 5-19.
I don't know what power rankings is, but I do like having leagues where like the last playoff spot goes to the highest scorer who's outside the top 5. Because it does take a little bit of that, like, in fact, in one of my leagues this year, and the sad thing is our team was a monster. We would have for sure won the championship. We missed out on the playoffs we lost in week 14, and we only lost by like 7 points. And we were the second highest scoring team in the league by only 9 points. And our team went off in the fantasy playoffs. Like, we would have probably crushed everybody, but we didn't get in. So I do like that rule of letting, like, that, almost like a wild card, right? Like, hey, like in the NFL, like you're the best team of the teams that didn't make it, so you're in. I do kind of like that.
In some leagues, one of our leagues, I think we had that the median scoring, league median scoring, or one platform they call it victory points or whatever. Basically, if you're in the top half of scoring for each week, you get a point. So in the end, you double your record. That evens things out. So that I don't mind doing something like that. But hey, 5-9 winning the ship. Congrats. And then Matthew CK, he plays Dynasty. He's like, I could have been better, but I only won 4.
Yeah, I mean, you could always be better, but winning 4 is pretty good. It's pretty good.
And also took an 0-16 to the ship. Nice.
0-6.
Never had it so good. Also won a championship for the first time. It's Kyron and CD. Wasn't on either team. Wow. So just Kyron, giving a shout out to, and Josh Allen. Yeah, you don't bench a guy like Josh Allen. Bilal is back, won in dominant fashion. Shout out for the suggestions. And yes, thank you. Thank you for pouring salt and then rubbing it into the wound. But I did not expect the Dolphins to win that game anyways, so don't worry. Big Root won 3 out of 6.
Well done. Well done.
David Uppner. It was Josh Allen, Brees, Lamb, CMC, and the Browns defense.
Oh, geez. Yeah, you were stacked. I mean, who would have thought CMC would be your biggest bust?
No kidding. With this group? Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right, let's see. Yeah, well, sometimes kickers can be your MVP. It's Harrison Butker.
Yeah. I would be so mad if I lost because my opponent started Harrison Butker.
Yeah, be mad. Bonzi do be fresh. We don't have to worry about that because we don't play with kickers. Went from missing the playoffs last year to winning it all. Awesome.
Nice. Redemption.
That, feels even better that way too. This is funny. I have to mention because people talking about their league winners. Kyron clearly won. Puka, we didn't even mention him. You don't always get it right. Isaac saying his biggest mistake was picking up Josh Kelly instead of Kyron.
Yeah. Oof.
Hey, back then we were young and we didn't know any better. We were all young and naive. What do you think about this? Jaden Reed, the next Debo.
I hope not. Debo Samuel is like 220 pounds. Jaden Reed is like 185. I mean, the guy couldn't even make it through the game last night. Couldn't even go back out there in the second half. I really hope they don't turn him into that. Please don't do that, Packers. I think that would be terrible for Jaden Reed's career. Please don't do that.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I feel like they were doing some of that to compensate for Aaron Jones being out, and then Aaron Jones is back, and they're still using him a lot. Hey, I don't care how they use him. Jaden Reed looks like a stud.
Yes.
So I'm not going to slap the next Debo tag on him because he won't be used lined up as a running back that often, and he's not the same guy. But will Jaden Reed be a stud in fantasy like Debo? Could be.
Yeah, he didn't have. You're right, because the last 2 games of Aaron Jones, Jaden Reed had 0 carries. So yeah, I think you're right. They were just kind of doing that because they're like, Aaron Jones is out, we can't run the ball. I don't think that's how you want to use Jaden Reed, to be honest.
No. Mayor Mama won 130 to 112, neck and neck. Wow. It was a 1-point game going into the night game, I guess. And then Jaden Reed pulled it out. Pure joy. There you go. Is that a thing you do with your winnings? If a guy carries you, you get his jersey?
Nah.
It's a thing you could do, though. I think you could do. 369 ride, league winner with Pacheco. Wow, last minute took out K9. Hey, K9 was good too, though.
Yeah, Kane was good, but Pacheco was awesome. I had my matchup, the one finals I didn't win. It came down. It was against our editor John in one of the endgame leagues, and I had a 10-point lead going into the Chiefs Bengals game, and he had Pacheco left, and within the first series or whatever it was, Pacheco had 12 points because he had I'm like, oh, good job, you won already. That was fast.
Yeah, actually, let's do this. Walter also said won his work league thanks to Pacheco. Diggs helped you out on the other side.
Yeah, Diggs, man. I don't know what are we doing with Diggs next year?
Mark Baxter, he spent 22 out of a $30 fab budget, so he paid up for Kyron and Puka. Yeah, I think that was worth it.
Yep, that was worth it.
Wow, so he had Brees on the bench and went against Lamar Jackson, but still won the championship.
Well, he had Kyron, who
nice.
outscored Brees, and then he had Puka, who had a pretty nice game.
Yeah, Puka too. Man, he came through the Rams. Who knew? All right, and then we feel very humbled here. Style and Moose, first of all, saying he swears by the channel. Thank you, Moose.
Thank you. Well done.
And then
well done.
We know Anthony. Anthony, you really shouldn't have.
Oh man, thank you, Anthony. Very generous. Very generous.
Well, he I guess he's got some money burning a hole in his pocket. He won his big money league. He's saying for the first time. Wow. All right.
Well done.
Awesome.
Well done.
Well, congrats.
Yeah, that's the thing. Look, I won a championship with Rachaad White. I won a championship with. Well, we won a champion. I mean, it's not about having one. It's very rare that you're going to have your entire lineup that you set on a given week that everybody's going to just be great. You're going to have some busts. You just need the guys that's why we always preach upside, right? You need the CeeDee Lambs in your lineups. You need the Kyron Williamses in your lineups. You need those guys who can go off that week. Because nobody's going to set very rarely are you going to set your perfect lineup. Very rarely is that going to happen. So, well done. Well done, Anthony. Even with Devonta Smith.
Yeah. Devonta Smith, hey, bad break, literally. But yeah, just appreciate you, Anthony. Appreciate everybody here. You know what? Was this a good time? Should we go over, speaking of winners, we still got some more comments and some more celebrations. Do we do the underdog thing or?
Yeah, we can do it real quick. Let me see.
All right.
Let's pull it up.
I'll get rid of the banner. There we go.
All
right. So I want to mention this because we do have another repeat winner. You guys are good at this, I think.
Yes.
We're going to have to pick your brain, Miguel and Python. You guys clearly know what you're doing here on Underdog. So every week we've been doing, over the last several weeks, been doing drafts on Underdog, the weekly drafts, not just your season-long fantasy like you have. And so for this past week, for the week 17 Underdog Endgame Best Ball Champ, I think that's what it's called. It was another first place finish for Seven Rock, also known as Miguel. So congrats. Well, it looks like Kyron and Pacheco were the guys we just talked about that carried.
Yeah, I mean, look, he had the top two running backs. He had Josh Allen. He had the second highest scoring wide receiver. And I think it was Juwan Johnson that was the highest scoring tight end this week, right? Juwan Johnson.
You drafted Juwan Johnson. Maybe he's premonition guy. Maybe that's what it is.
I know. Are you premonition guy? It wasn't for the fact that he drafted. He's like, oh man, I guess I have to draft Olave.
Well, I guess he's like, okay, I'm going against Tampa Bay secondary. I'm going to take a shot, go Olave and Juwan Johnson. One of those guys is going to go off. Well, you were right. Juwan Johnson had a big game for a tight end. He was better than Kittle. He was much better than Kelsey. He was better than Laporta and McBride. So, man, yeah, we're going to have to pick your brain. Devontae Adams had a huge game. Of course, Kyron and then Pacheco. So, well done. Seven Rock, first place. Second place, barely outdone, was Python, who's also been a winner here. Etienne. You were right on that pick.
Yeah, I was right on that one. Not many of our booms came through this week, but Etienne came through. DJ Moore obviously was huge. And this just goes to show you, I mean, Dalton Schultz, 2 points. Tyreek Hill. I'm guessing Tyreek Hill was like probably his second. I think he picked second, and he picked Tyreek Hill. So it goes to show you, it's not about your misses; it's about your hits.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So well done, and looks like we have an interesting name in third who got the bronze here.
Here's the funny thing: 131, 104, 76. One of those weeks. One of those.
Hey,
weeks.
you still placed. You got your money back. You placed. Okay. So yeah, Bijan did not go off. I like that pick at the time. Look, if you swap Algier for him physically in that one long touchdown catch, then you maybe get close to winning.
Yeah, I'm still in third.
Still in third. Yeah.
Because Kittle busted. Jamar Chase did end up playing, but he busted. Cooper Kupp was just okay. Getting Fields with my last pick actually is probably what got me third place, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. All right. So there it is. Top 3 finishers. Like I was okay. My Geno Smith pick wasn't horrible, right? Wasn't the worst pick.
T. Higgins.
Zamir White didn't come through.
Yeah, Zamir White was okay. Nico didn't boom, unfortunately. He wasn't bad, but he didn't boom. T. Higgins, of course, got hurt. Trey McBride also did not come through.
Yeah, T. Higgins obviously killed that, and then Zamir didn't boom, but it was okay. But look, here's the thing. It was fun. We love drafting. We're going to keep drafting, and I don't know. As far as a Week 18 one, that would probably be fun. We could do one, maybe we'll
that will be something. The Week 18 one will be interesting for sure.
We could do a Week 18, so it's basically the fight for Bo Melton, in other words.
Exactly. Bo Melton, number 1 pick in Week 18.
Maybe. Somebody earlier said like Zach Evans is going off this week. Maybe he will.
Why not?
I'll take a shot. I'll take a shot on him. Maybe we should do a Week 18 one, and we'll do a playoff best ball. If not this week, next week. We'll see. We'll do some more drafting. So yeah, Underdog is going to be hopping for us. We're going to do some best ball for next year as well. And baseball is now going to be hopping. So if you guys are into baseball, check that out. We'll start promoting that as well. Videos starting to go up there pretty soon. All right, but what about Musicians Reveal podcast? Won my championship with only 3 players I drafted and waived Chase.
Like you cut him? You cut Chase? I also like these are some of my favorite championships too when I win with a team that I barely drafted. Like trades, waiver wire moves.
Well, hey, the draft means very little. We always know that. So, William Mills, Happy New Year's. Thanks for the advice. Helped me win with CD Hall, CMC, Rashid Rice, Minshew, Bijan, and Njoku. Yeah, that sounds like a good team. And a celebrity cameo, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, wow.
Who we just talked about randomly. Remember a few weeks ago we were talking about Bloodsport? I don't even remember why. I'm the champ of the 2023 Quinn Fantasy League. All right. Congrats. Oh, here it is. It was Python. See, I knew I saw Zach Evans' name. It's going to be Zach Evans.
Hey, he's been on a heater with his pick, so maybe.
Yeah, right. I'm not going against what you say anymore. Go Balance. Half the team was questionable, but still won by 20 plus. Kyler Pacheco and Jags D somehow. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I keep talking about the most surprising things of Week 17, and Bo Melton is still the most surprising thing of Week 17. But the Cardinals going into Philadelphia and just running all over the Eagles, like, where did that come from? What is going on with the Eagles?
You got to be nervous if you're a fan, like a real life fan. Who knows? I mean, I don't even know if anybody feels like they can take down the Niners in the playoffs, even though they weren't amazing yesterday. Who cares? Like, they've beaten all the best teams. So
yeah,
but you never know. Playoffs, it's like a whole different thing. Max Camp TV, second place. Stroud, Gibbs, and Barkley should have played Flacco. Well,
that's fantasy for you, right? Like, I played C.J. Stroud, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Saquon Barkley, and instead I should have played Joe Flacco, Breece Hall, and Devonta. That's basically fantasy.
Not bad process. Not bad process. You can't be blamed for playing Gibbs and Barkley. So yeah, but when it gets your own
Yeah,
instincts.
Gibbs was another big bust in week 17 after being so good for so many weeks. Yeah.
What's up, Stinger? Oh, Stinger. He said he's won his championship by 13 thanks to CD.
Yep. CeeDee Lamb. Nice,
First
Stinger.
time
Well
making
done,
playoffs
Stinger.
and won it all. Awesome job,
Well
Stinger.
done.
Stinger's also an OG.
Oh, yeah. OG.
And then Anthony saying that he used endgame leagues to teach his son and nephews about fantasy. It's even better when you can like carry it down.
Exactly.
Nice. Should have a better showing. All right. Yeah, we're gonna be worried. You're gonna be tough competition again for sure. Wow, what about this? Eduardo Castro almost ran the table. 16-1.
That's tough. That's going undefeated is one thing I've always wanted to do, but I've never done it. And I've never seen anybody do it. I've never in one of my leagues have I seen anybody go undefeated. 16-1, that's very impressive. Well done.
That's really hard to do with all the luck involved here. You just mentioned the Eagles here. Mark Baxter saying he's an Eagles fan, started Connor because he was laughing at the idea of being a tough matchup. I mean, you were right. It was not a tough matchup.
No, it's not a tough matchup.
All right, Adam. Marky saying he got lucky, won the championship. Look, that's half of it. Let's just admit what it is. It's a lot of luck. Got Carr, Gibbs, Zeke, Hill, Ayuk, Njoku, Collins, Elliott, and Broncos still won. All right, we know Moises, always one of the first here. Won in one of the leagues and unfortunately lost in the other because Gibbs killed and Chase kind of let down. But hey,
yeah,
one.
As long as you bring home one title, it's a successful year. As long as you bring home one title.
Yeah, it's hard to do. Arthur Olivenstein lost the championship, but got close with Kyron Williams leading the team. Maggie. Okay, got some more explaining here. Let's see. Played for third and lost. Picked up Mason Rudolph, and opponent played Stafford, Mayfield, CMC, and Kelsey. Won by 15 points with Mason Rudolph as the quarterback. That feels like a victory. Big victory.
That definitely feels like, I mean, winning with Mason Rudolph feels like a victory. Yeah, we had some guys like Matt Stafford that were just like Brock Purdy. Some guys that were in like really good spots. CJ Stroud, it just kind of were okay at quarterback. Just were kind of okay.
Yeah, it's, again, such a weird season for quarterbacks, especially. So congrats, Maddie. Jamie DW won it. Great IDP. So someone we should do more of. We had Brees, Ayuk, Hurts, Laporta, and Metcalf going against Hill, Etienne. Wow, so that was a close one. The Smith injury maybe helped you.
Yeah.
Javon, champion one, runner up in the other. Congrats.
Nice. Congrats.
And E, kicker made the difference. Tucker it was. Won by 4.
I'm happy you won, but I can't feel too good about that.
Mississippi Queen won the championship thanks to CD. That feels good.
CD, absolutely
awesome. All right, Stinger wants us to hop on here and get a little bit of credit for the CD Lamb thing.
Okay. Well done, Stinger. You and me, Stinger.
There you go.
I mean, I said the wide receiver won, but you
know. Chris Vicchai just saying thanks. All right. Awesome. Let's see. Clifford Cato won the championship. Even despite having 3, let's face it, busts this week. Stud receivers, but they busted. But Kyron, I think, pretty much carried this team.
I mean, had Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, James Cook, Ty Chandler wasn't even that good. He still won. Nice.
Yeah, that's impressive. Hey, you won. That's all that matters. Congrats.
Yep.
Cammy Cam said she won by a fraction of a point because the opponent had Hall at quarterback somehow.
Jaron, somebody started Jaron Hall at quarterback. Woo.
That
is gutsy. That is gutsy.
That's impressive. Won by 0.76.
I mean,
If
literally, if they would have started anybody else at quarterback that actually played, anybody else, wow.
Yeah, if he doesn't get benched, then man, all right. Hey, a win is a win. You took it home. You deserve it. Moses Lamb got the chip.
Oh,
Nice.
I'm guessing
Man,
I'm guessing you won pretty easily.
you had 3 league winners.
Yeah.
Congrats, Moses. And Moses has been with us for the entire season. Hector Raul Camacho won it, even with Bijan and Chase not coming through, but Connor was the guy.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not about the misses, it's about the hits.
Tony Perkins, 1 in 5 of 7. And yeah, you were right about Higgins being a bust.
Yeah, Higgins was what a down season for Higgins, man. Now he's a free agent. What's gonna happen?
Yeah, Tony, that's impressive. Winning 5 out of 7. That's hard to do. And then Buck, I won both mine with season both in the playoffs in 3 position. Nice. All right. And Ryan saying that the start and sit videos helped. Ryan Milanowski watching for the tricky start sits and won the ship in 2 leagues.
Well done. Well done, Ryan.
This feels good. And I'm in the exact same position. Andres Gregorio, Keenan being injured forced him to play Pickens. And
that's a funny thing, actually, because sometimes a guy gets hurt and you think like, oh, that's it, right? That's it. My season's over now. And then you're forced to play this guy, and then that guy ends up being awesome, and you never would have played him before. So it's funny how those things work out sometimes.
I think this year taught me, which I actually kind of already knew, but I did anyways, but I need to actually not do next year, is to overinvest, right? Too many of the same guy in different leagues. Like half of my leagues, I have Justin Herbert at quarterback. We'll see how that turned out.
Yeah.
And in 2 of my best leagues, my best finishes, I had Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert. So thankfully, in the exact same league where I just won, I had George Pickens to play instead of Keenan Allen. But I feel you there. But yeah, I'm realizing now that having that Herbert Allen stack maybe wasn't the best idea in all of my leagues.
Yeah, I know. I
wasn't all of my leagues, but you know what I mean.
I had way too much Ridley and Christian Kirk this year. Although Christian Kirk was good until he got hurt, but I had a lot of Ridley and Christian Kirk.
But that's the thing too. A guy gets hurt and then it hurts you in every league you have that guy. You're like, okay, I should have differentiated it a little bit more. Mystic Flame has a dynasty question. Super Flex. He's asking, is Trevor Lawrence and a late second overpaying for Kyron and Achane?
Yeah, in super flex, give me the quarterback. I know Trevor Lawrence wasn't great this year, but he's still a young, very good quarterback. And we're talking about 2 running backs. I mean, I know it's hard to sit here right now and have this Yahoo on your screen saying, Kyron isn't a guy like Kyron isn't some like insane elite prospect who profiled as a 3-down workhorse running back. I'll say Kyron was great this year. But I don't feel like Kyron and Achane are like sure things in Dynasty for running backs. Trevor Lawrence is pretty much a sure thing at quarterback. Like it's hard to think Trevor Lawrence isn't going to be better next year. We're talking about what, like a quarterback in his mid-20s who was a number 1 pick. Like I'm taking the quarterback.
Yeah, I know. We talk about some of our misses. Me assuming Trevor Lawrence would be much better this year was a miss, but
yeah,
I know. It's wrong to trade a quarterback, a young quarterback, franchise quarterback, however good he is or isn't, for running backs in Dynasty. Especially when look how much Achane has been hurt already as a rookie, and he's not a workhorse back. So I think it is an overpay. Yeah. I would say this wouldn't be an overpay if you are hurting a running back and you're going for the championship and you need the running back help, and these guys would have carried you to a championship.
Right.
But now you're talking off season. So
yeah, I'm just Kyron and Achane are not the type of running backs I want to trade for in the off season in Dynasty.
Right. Exactly. I would say right now is the worst possible time to trade for Kyron anywhere in Dynasty because you're overpaying no matter what. There's no way you're not overpaying for Kyron Williams right now. So
exactly.
All right, more champs here.
White
YB.
Walker.
Walker and Zamir. White Walker. There you go.
There you go.
And Dame Walker. Harrison Butker. Hey, a win's a win. He took it all. He says we helped with the late night start sits, answering the questions. That's right. Been here since minute 1. All right, so got $600. Very nice.
Nice. Well done. Well done.
Very, very nice. The kitty goes meow. The big kitty traded for Lamb in week 8. Won because they started Taysom Hill over Sam Laporta. You had the guts to start Taysom Hill over Sam Laporta.
But I don't even think Taysom Hill outscored Sam Laporta this week, did he? I mean, maybe in non-PPR. Maybe if it's non-PPR.
Yeah. All right.
No, because Sam Laporta outscored Taysom Hill this week. But if you're in non-PPR, Taysom probably Taysom barely outscored him because of the touchdown.
Because of the touchdown, yeah.
But barely. But trading for CeeDee Lamb, that was a league-winning trade, no doubt about it. Whoever traded away CeeDee Lamb is just sick right now.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, Paul saying Pacheco, was it? All right, this is too far. The Harrison Butker jersey, I don't know. Like getting a Jaden Reed jersey would be cool. Like having a kicker jersey, I don't know. Maybe pick the guy who is the MVP on your actual team.
Right, which I hope is not Harrison Butker.
Sal Palumbo says survived Eckler and Kelsey both bombing thanks to the studs. Hey,
Travis Kelce, where are we drafting Travis Kelce next year? If he's even back, if he even plays. Does Travis Kelce even want to play football? Was Travis Kelce just counting down the minutes until he could go to the New Year's Eve party with Taylor Swift yesterday? Like, was he just like, oh, man, come on, is this thing over yet?
Legit questions, honestly. Yeah, you kind of worry when a guy starts doing more commercials and more TV appearances and his numbers start going down. You're like, we'll talk about that in the offseason. And then you knew that the Rico guy, Phil, was going to show up. What is up? He won his league pretty easily. Taking a break, but ready for baseball. Hey, baseball's starting right now. Ready. There's no spring.
Baseball's ready. Let's go.
We're ready. Check the channel. You're going to see videos coming out starting tomorrow. Eddie Escalante, Jordan Love, and Jaden Reed won my league. Was down 57. Wow.
Yeah, those guys came through. Those guys flipped a lot of matchups last night for sure. A lot of matchups, people were like, I got this in the bag. And then it was like, oh, never mind.
Yeah. No kidding. Gary Lytle, back-to-back champs. Awesome.
Well done, Gary.
And then we also know Nico Santoso, also back-to-back champs. Wow, by 0.18.
Wow.
Man. And despite Olave and Gibbs really not doing much, but defense, Jags defense, hey, whatever works. Whatever
works. There were some big defense games yesterday for sure.
Quail Man also won first fantasy championship. Bulldog, we're getting to your comment. Here it is. He's won 2 chips. Thanks to the comment and Happy New Year.
And you got a Bulldog, so it's a triple. It's trifecta right there. Trifecta.
Gonna say we would get your comment anyways. The Bulldog fans are good. Rusty Shackelford, we won. We got the chip. Starting Adams over Higgins.
That was a good move. Very good move.
So apparently, a lot of people saying the ESPN league like forces you to play Week 18. I guess that's one of the reasons we don't play ESPN leagues.
What? It forces you to play Week 18. That's ridiculous.
Robert is in 18 title games out of 25.
Dang, 25. I remember Robert last week. 25 teams. Well, you're still alive in 12 of them. That's impressive.
Yeah, that is impressive, but also kind of insane. Hey, that's awesome. He could take home 18 championships. At the very least, he's leading in 12. So you'll see. So Robert's going to be tuning in. He's saying the waiver wire was huge. It's going to be huge this week. I know that.
Yeah, waiver wire is always huge.
All right, joining the winner's circle is Randy Page. Won 2 Dynasty leagues, 1 redraft, and got an expert start at FFPC. Wow, and that's impressive because that's a high-stakes platform. So you're going up against a lot of really sharp guys.
Well done. Well done.
Wow, 3,300 total. Man, that's awesome, Randy. That's again, I don't think people realize this. It's not easy to do. Not easy to do. Expert start FFPC. Mark Gonzalez has a trade question. A high second and a future first for Kyler. Well,
if it's super flex, definitely.
If it's not super flex,
maybe not. Depends how desperate I am at quarterback. Like if my best if I was rolling Joe Flacco out there right off the waiver wire or something like that, then maybe. But in a single QB league, as long as I have somebody that I feel halfway decent about, nah, probably not.
I mean, yeah, I'm assuming if you're trading for a quarterback, you need a quarterback. But in a single QB league, I don't know. What do you feel about Kyler in general? I mean, we'll talk about this for next year, of course, but he was okay, but he wasn't a league winner when he came back. He wasn't terrible either. He was just like, he was fine. I mean,
I feel good about Kyler. I feel good. I mean, it sounds like the Cardinals have all the confidence in the world in him going into next year. Look, he didn't have Marquise Brown pretty much. Even when he had Marquise Brown, he didn't have Marquise Brown. What if they draft Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Wow. Then I might give up that first for Kyler, but don't know now. But yeah, he needs weapons. I agree. He does need weapons at wideout.
They need weapons.
All right. Yeah, if it's super flex, you take Kyler. If it's single QB, I'm on the fence about this. It really depends. Jay Hughes, he agrees on HA and disagrees on Kyron. Think he's a top 5 RB, worth trading for in Dynasty. Again, my problem is you're buying at the absolute peak value. Absolute peak value.
Yeah, and I mean, look, like here's my that's the number one thing is you're buying at peak value. The number two thing for me that always in Dynasty that makes it hard for me to go trade for a guy like Kyron. We're talking about a 5'9", 195-pound running back with a 28.6 BMI who ran a 4.6 40, who was a 5th round pick, who's already going to be entering his age 24 season because he came into the league late. Like, it's just like, I get it. Like, he's going to be the guy there, and he's probably going to be the guy there again next year. But we're also looking at a Rams season where the Rams exceeded expectations by 1,000,000 miles this year. There's no guarantee they don't fall back down to earth and be the Rams we saw last year, right? Like a not so good Rams offense. If Matthew Stafford, now a year older, isn't as good, right? Cooper Kupp, we don't know the offense. Like in redraft, fine. Kyron Williams is probably going to be a first-round pick next year. But in Dynasty, he's just not the guy I want to go trade for. He's just not the type. Like, I'd rather go get a more proven guy like a Jonathan Taylor, who's still in his prime and we know is a workhorse running back and we know is good. And we don't have to worry about the situation around him because he's a true workhorse running back that we don't have to worry about. Like, I'd rather go get – and look, I think Jonathan Taylor is only a year older than Kyron, too.
Yeah, Breece Hall. I would take Breece Hall.
Yes, definitely.
10 times over Kyron. Yeah, I agree. It's hard not to let recency bias get the best of you, but you have to still look at the stats objectively. You're going to tell me I'm drafting Kyron as a top 5 running back in redraft next year? Oh, yeah, fine, sure. Yeah, great, assuming everything's the same. I'm okay with that. Dynasty is a different beast, so but agree to disagree sometimes.
But this is also what makes Dynasty fun, is that people have different valuations of players, and this is why you can make trades and make things happen, which is why you should never veto trades. Because you don't know, because if somebody thinks Kyron's going to be a top 5 running back next year and somebody else thinks he's going to be a bust, who are you to say one or the other is right or wrong?
That's That's why I like Dynasty as well. Yeah, it makes it fun because Dynasty season never over. In fact, now is when it starts to heat up again with all the trades.
Yes.
And then start doing the rookie valuations, which also come up next. Those of you who are in Dynasty or you want to know which rookies might be studs next year, yeah, we'll cover that for you. Tell you who we like before the draft, tell you who we like more or less after the draft, all coming in the offseason.
Yep.
All right, let's do a few more. Got some more winners stored. Jim K, 2 of 3 in the finals, 1 ships. Nice.
Yep.
White, Gibbs, and Olave killed the third. Well,
Yep.
2 out of 3 winning. You're still in pretty well. You're doing it right.
Exactly.
Jim is in at least a couple of our in-game units, I think, right?
Yeah, he was in at least one for sure. Yeah,
at least one for
probably
sure.
a couple.
Yeah, awesome, Jim. Weightless cow. One first, $1,800 in
nice
my
job.
nephew's league. Wow,
Well
great
done.
job
Taking your nephew's money. I like it.
That it's always better when it's in the family, right? Because then everybody in the family knows who won.
Exactly. It's always better because every time, yep, you're the guy. Everybody knows you won.
Nice. All right, and then Happy New Year as well. What about G4E CEO? How do you feel about Eagles and Niners and Dallas sitting players this week?
I mean, Dallas should sit players. 49ers should sit players. Eagles need to play. Eagles need to play because I think they could either be the 2 seed or like the 5 seed and not play at home at all this postseason. Eagles need to play. Plus the Eagles, you can't go into the playoffs with this. You need to play. Dallas also I think is going to play because Dallas, Detroit, and Philly are all fighting for that number 2 seed, and that's huge because that means you have home field until you get to the NFC Championship game. And if somehow the 49ers get upset, you have home field throughout the whole, all the way up to the Super Bowl. So Eagles and Dallas will play. 49ers should not, but it's Kyle Shanahan, so who knows?
We're gonna have to wait and see and try to get some hints and some information and see what goes on as we get closer to the weekend. So again, we'll be here to help you out and whoever's still playing week 18, which apparently is everybody in ESPN leagues. So yeah, we'll see what happens. So right now I agree, Eagles, I mean, they should just want to play. They need to prove something, man. But
gotta get that confidence going.
Yeah, they just need to win going into the postseason. Yeah, so G4E CEO will check back with us later this week. More 78s music man. 4 out of 5. Nice.
Very good.
Miles Young, I think I already said this earlier. Carried to the ship. All right. Dragon Tchaikovsky, 2 out of 3. Nice.
Well done. Congratulations.
Anthony's got a question here. Thoughts on keeping Brees and JT with round 4 and 6 picks?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what your other options are, but Brees is going to probably be a first rounder next year is my guess, and JT may even squeak into the first round, early second. Yeah. If you can keep those guys 4 and 6, I think that's huge.
Yeah, that's no brainer here. You've got 2 stud running backs and you don't have to worry about drafting a running back. Yeah, I would do it. All right. Last thing before we go off, let's see. Guys, who was your MVP of the year of the season? We know who helped you in week 17. Jaden Reed came through huge. Jordan Love apparently too. Of course, CeeDee Lamb. So who are you going to give your MVP trophy to for the season? So, Chris, who do you feel like out of the players you drafted or the teams that you won your actual championship leagues, who was your MVP?
Well, I mean, CeeDee Lamb was my MVP in the home league. For sure. And then I would say, I mean, and then I did get Kyron off waivers in week 1. He was also right there. I would say in our Dynasty League, making that trade for CMC, he was our MVP, even though he did let us down a bit in week 17. I mean, he pretty much carried us every week.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
what's
exactly.
crazy, what's crazy is I want to say Mostert was probably an MVP, but the one team I had Mostert, I don't even think I made the finals with him.
Yeah. I mean, letdown, he didn't play, but yeah, definitely a letdown week. Lead the league in touchdowns in championship week to not play. That was kind of a bust. But yeah, Tyreek, Chris Daly saying Tyreek was his guy. Yeah, because if you had Tyreek, you probably were in first place.
Right.
Puka off waivers. Sure, Puka. I want to give shout out to the Sun God, not just because we love the Sun God, but so consistent every week. And sure enough, even in the finals, the one of the teams where I did win, 22 points came through in week 17, didn't bust, was solid. Really only one down week. What was it, week 16, I think, or 15 or 16?
Yeah.
But just so consistent. It's nice. Very few players, and he had a ceiling. It's not like he's consistent but boring or whatever, but just so good.
Yeah, I feel like Sun God just does not get enough respect. Like even if people just, I feel like Sun God. Okay, like 2 years ago, I said you have to draft CeeDee Lamb. Last year, I said you have to draft CeeDee Lamb. This year, I said you have to draft CeeDee Lamb. I feel like Sun God is kind of in that CeeDee Lamb stage right now, where for whatever reason people just don't think he's that good in fantasy. Yet every year he's awesome, and he's entering that point of his career now, entering year 4, entering that prime year. Yeah, give me all the Sun God this year. All the Sun God I can get.
Maybe just not as, it just doesn't make as many highlight plays. Let's face it. It's more boring just because he just catches so many passes across the middle. But the production, you can't deny the production.
Right. I guess he doesn't have those huge, 30, 40-point games. But remember, CeeDee Lamb didn't either until the last couple of years. Like, remember, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, I know we get spoiled by the Justin Jeffersons and the Jamar Chases who just come out year 1 and are awesome.
Right.
But those guys are rare. Like CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown entering year 4. Don't be surprised if Amon-Ra St. Brown is a top 5 fantasy player this year.
Yeah, I think we have to stop being surprised. The Sun God is a dominant receiver. So people thought he was being drafted too high. Remember that last year? Like, he's just... Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, he's in that CeeDee Lamb, like, he's okay kind of stage. And it's like, why don't you think he's... I don't know, maybe because he's on Detroit. And like I said, he doesn't have those, those highlight reel plays.
Yeah. So Sun God for sure. CD Lamar came through and it counted for sure. He was solid all year. Matthew Newhouse, champ. Awesome. Congratulations. Yep. Sun God carried you most of the season. CMC also most of the season until the very last week. And Rachaad White, man, he was also a good pick.
Yeah, if you drafted Rachaad White, chances are you were playing in week 17. There's a good chance. Now, he didn't come through in week 17, unfortunately, but he got you there. He carried you there for sure. No doubt about it.
And then here's Vinny. I was waiting for him to show up. Won the ship. Being down 15 going to the night game. Jaden Reed came through. And Connor also. Awesome. Congrats, Vinny.
Yep. Congrats, Vinny.
I remember he's in a 16-team league, I think, right? Super deep. Very competitive. Awesome. All right. There we go. That's what it's all about. All right. Anybody else want to post your dubs? Do it now. Don't forget, we'll be back for week 18. We're going to help those of you who are still playing, unfortunately. Got to take home the victory this week. Not going to be streaming on a nightly basis anymore because a lot of you already won it. It's already locked up.
Yeah.
So it's pretty, it's said and done either way, right? Either you took the win or you didn't. But what are we looking at? Probably Saturday?
Oh, yeah. We're definitely going to stream Saturday. Help anybody who's still alive in week 18 with their start sits for sure. For sure.
There you go. Yeah, no, thank you guys for a great season. And again, next season, I know it seems far away. It kind of is. But we're going to be ready for next season. We're getting ready starting right now. So yeah, I'll listen to this. Anthony, happy new year, of course, to everybody out there. And the hot stove is getting heated up too. So Fantasy Endgame MLB, check it out if you haven't already. If you're a baseball fan, if you're not, you know what? Become a baseball fan. Try it. How many people did we say right now that's like first time ever playing and I won the championship? You could do that in baseball too. You watch the end game. We'll help you guys out, teach you everything you need to know about how to play and how to win. So I know it's intimidating. It's a longer season. It's a grind, but you can win it. You can do it. Oh, got one more here. We got to give a shout out to Ruben.
Ruben, yes. What's up? Congrats, Ruben. Well done. $1,700. Nice.
That is nice. Very nice, Ruben. Glad he's been with us all season long too. So glad to hear that you won. Jerry won the chip with Lamar, Debo, Zay, and Rashad. That's a good team.
Zay Flowers had a nice game. Zay Flowers and Isaiah Likely were the craziest week 17. Like, what 5 catches combined, and they had like 2 of the biggest games. That huge catch by Zay, right? That huge catch and run by Zay.
Yeah, that was not expected. No, we weren't sure if we were going to play Zay Flowers, and he came through. But you never know. You never know. Tony, unfortunately, came up a little short, lost by 5. Nico and Devonta wound up being a difference. Eckler didn't come through. Kyron kept him alive. Lost by 5 points because Casey had 3 sacks.
Yeah, it was like every time Jake Browning snapped the ball in the fourth quarter, it was like a sack. Like snap sack. Jeez.
Defense shouldn't, cost you a chip, but hey, it happens. Chris Daly saying he was losing until Eckler fumbled. The fantasy gods were clearly on your side. That's what you need sometimes. All right, guys. Well, let's see you on Saturday. And good luck in week 18 if you're still playing, but we'll be here to help you out. So check us out if you haven't already. Subscribe. Try to get us to 50K. We're super close. Spread the word if we did help you win. Maybe don't tell your roommates. You don't want to help out, but to everybody else who plays fantasy football. And it also hit the notification bell so you know when we're going to go live. All right. Thank you, guys, and Happy New Year.